You're listening to the 3 Pillars of Success, a podcast that inspires people of all walks of life to gain perspective on what it means to succeed. My name is Geraldine Convento, and I'm best known for entrepreneurship, my skills in web presence, and SEO. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Hey y'all, how you doing? This is the 3 Pillars of Success podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Geraldine Convento, and today I have a really special guest by the name of Tina Falcone. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's start off with who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So, my name is Tina. I am born and raised in Sweden. I'm currently living in Erie, Colorado. And normally I work as a coach for engineering teams and their leaders. Right now, I am enjoying being a stay-at-home mom.
Awesome. Now, what do you do for fun?
Oh, what do I not do for fun? My wife jokingly says that my hobby is to have hobbies. But right now, it's leatherworking, woodworking, and playing with my dogs.
Wow, leatherworking and woodworking. That must take a lot of concentration, does it?
It does. I have my own little office in our new house, which is really awesome, where I can do my leather work. And I'm building my new wood shop in the basement. I really enjoy just that me time, creating something, not only like seeing the finished result, but the entire process.
Cool. All right. So as we all know, we're here because we would love to know, what does success mean to you?
Success, as we were talking about earlier, for me, there's so many different kinds of success. You can have success in your work life. You can have success with family and love. I think for me, I feel success, and it's this just joyous feeling in my body, and I can't stop smiling. I have so many different moments in life. I almost always start crying when I get so, when I look at it, I'm like, wow, we really made it, or yes, I did this. Success at work, when you see that team you've been working with for so long, kicking butt and just nailing it and, blowing everything out of the water.
Awesome. That's so inspiring. So what are your 3 pillars of success?
Oh, God. I've been thinking about that, and for me, it lands on focus, authenticity, and willingness to learn. And we can start with the willingness to learn. As a coach, one of the things that I teach and talk about a lot is not being afraid of failing. And I think a lot of us just avoid doing things that we want to do, or avoid chasing our dreams because we're afraid to fail. I know I am doing it right now. I am in between jobs, and I've been going back and forth. Should I or should I not start my own company? And I'm building all of these reasons for why I shouldn't, and they're all fear-driven. So what I'm trying to say is, don't let that hold you back, and maybe I should listen to my own advice here and go for it, because life is a lesson, and every time you get a chance to learn, it's just a beautiful gift. Authenticity, also going back to how I perceive things from a coaching perspective, be true to yourself and to others. Why do you want to do this? Why are you the one doing that? What is it that you want to get out of it? Stay true to that. And you find yourself, spending hours and hours and not being happy. That's something that's not sitting right in you. And you need to listen to that and really be true to yourself. And then focus, which is, you could be creative and have a million projects in your wood shop or leatherworking. I think focus helps everyone. Just thinking about the teams that I worked with in the past, and there are always so many things that you should do or you could do, and there are always people running around and hey, can you help me with this? Can you do that? Both in your work life and in your private life. And you need to really think about how you invest your time and be sure that you're focusing on the right things. And especially if you want to achieve something, you need to focus your time on that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline to do that. And a lot of self-awareness to even observe that your time might not be spent in the right place.
Yes.
It's not always aligned with what you'd like to be focused on. So taking that extra time to just sit, reflect, and see is so important.
Right. And at a company, it can be easy because you can look at what are our key metrics that we want to be driving, or what are the goals we're trying to achieve this year, and do that for yourself. If you are building your own company, or if you are setting up, hey, I want to learn how to run and I want to do that marathon. Those things, those goals, set up different metrics that can help you see that you're getting there, right? That you're slowly but surely getting there. You can check off the box and like, yes, I did this, time for the next. And I think those things will help you figure out where to focus.
Absolutely. And also for people not to be afraid to ask for advice.
Yeah.
I think that was one of my biggest challenges when I was first starting a business. I felt like I needed to do all the research and I needed to do this and do that, just because, to be honest with you, I didn't even know who to go to.
Right.
So I was just relying on myself. But these days there's so many different coaches, friends, people in their network, or, there's so many people you can reach out to and just ask one simple question. That's all that it takes.
Yes. And that's very scary, right? Because then, and this is one of my other main things, if we're going to add a little thing here, vulnerability. Showing vulnerability is a great way to build trust and to build relationships and to build your own confidence within yourself. And that's so scary, right?
So in your journey to success, or moving through your path of success, are there any roadblocks that you had to overcome?
If I look at my life, I think the biggest roadblock has always been myself. I took a really awesome class in Albuquerque a few years ago, problem solving leadership. And it's very intensive week. It's Esther Derby is one of the people behind it. I truly recommend it. What I learned there is that I tend to take a lot of space in groups if I am insecure, or if I feel unsafe. And I challenged myself during that week to do the opposite, to take a step back and to see what happened. And what I learned is that me taking that step back and creating more space for others actually helped me feel safer and helped me build relationship and get closer faster with the group. And I think I used that when I came back to my work, and just approaching things differently with the people that I was working with in the leadership team I was at in coaching changed so much in the dynamics and really helped move me and them forward. So I think the biggest roadblock, to summarize it, has always been me and my, just being afraid of what's going on right now and how do I fit in, and hiding that by taking up the space and using up all the oxygen.
Wow. I can definitely see myself doing that often. I think as a leader, sometimes I view myself as, I have to have answers. I have to lead them.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me waiting for the next thing I'm going to say or direction. And I need to just say something. And sometimes it's not even the most brilliant thing. It's just whatever's at the top of my mind. Yeah. But I definitely want to try out what you just said and see what will happen.
It was really, really cool. And I think everyone that I worked with at the time, this was when I was working for Spotify in San Francisco, I think everyone in that leadership team also noticed that, okay, something's different. I wouldn't say that I was aggressive, but I wanted to move things forward and I wanted to make sure that we got there. So I didn't really let people get the time they needed to get there too. And actually that, having people come and ask you a question and have, like you said, need to be the one with answers. I was a manager for a group of people, other scrum masters and coaches, and one of them still talks about how he loved that, and also it was hard for him, but when he came and asked questions, most of the time I asked him, what do you think? And kind of forced him to, acknowledge that most of the time he had the answers within himself. And I think that's something that leaders could do more often. And I think we all benefit from that.
Awesome. Great advice. Wow. Totally hits home for me. So there's several people listening to this podcast and on their journey to achieving success or even figuring out what that is for themselves. Do you have any advice for them?
I think my one advice would be to really ask yourself why. Why are you wanting to do this? What is it that you will get from it, right? Are you doing this because you want to look better in for someone, or are you doing it because you want to pay raise or more freedom? Find that true reason. And if you ever sway from that, like just try to figure out how to get back to that.
Awesome. All right. So you heard it from Tina. Several gems in this episode. You can play it again just in case you missed anything. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate spending time with you and getting to know you on this level. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and getting to hear about your journey to success or what success means to you. It's just a totally different level of intimacy that we haven't had before. So I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me. It's really honoring, and I've always admired you. So keep it going.
Thank you. All right, y'all. So that was our episode today for the 3 Pillars of Success. As you know, we broadcast every single Wednesday. So we'll see you next, or actually, you'll hear us. Yes, you'll hear us next week. Bye.